Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm doing a crazy story time that I received. If you want to submit your own story time, make sure to check out the link in the description so you could submit your own. I am begging for my life. Please do not skip the ads. Thank you. Before we get into the video, I would just ask for one favor. I would really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, comment down below, and share this video with any friends that may be interested. Okay, let's get into it. So, the title was, My Best Friend Was in a Secret Relationship with My Son for 5 years. Okay. Alrighty, starting off pretty weird. So, this girl's name was Summer. This is the mother, and her best friend's name was Brianna. So, Summer's 43 currently, and Brianna is 42. Okay, just keep that in mind. These are grown, this is a grown woman. Okay? And Summer's son was 23 years old. So Summer says she had met her best friend in college, and they actually went to Princeton together. They were friends for a very, very long time. But Summer thought that Brianna was always jealous of her for whatever reason. And the reason being for this was because whenever Summer would get any kind of boyfriend, Brianna would always end up stealing or liking one of her boyfriends, and she wouldn't know why she would do this. There was this one time where Brianna had made this excuse talking about, oh, like, I told you that I liked your current boyfriend. I don't even know why you'd go and date him. And Summer had absolutely, like, no recollection of this happening to begin with, because Summer wasn't the type of girl to sit here and date someone. It's, like, that any friend would like, especially her best friend. Like, there was this one time where she was friends with this girl, and her name was Lindsay. And Lindsay actually liked this guy. But the guy who liked Lindsay asked Summer out, but Summer politely declined and led the guy towards Lindsay anyway. So this argument was completely false. It was just, you know, her being weird. A couple of other red flags would be that people would always go up to Summer and be like, yo, like, your best friend, Brianna, like, gossips about you, like, all the time. Like, she does not like you. I don't know why you think that she likes you. And Summer would always defend her on her behalf, just say she was joking, blah, 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 blah. And whenever she would try to address it, she'd be like, oh, no, they misunderstood what I said. Oh, no, they're taking it out of context. Oh, no, they're lying. Oh, no, they're over-exaggerating. Are you really going to believe them over me? So obviously this guilt tripped Summer and led her to believe that she was in the wrong, when in reality she was just looking out for herself. There would be this weird pattern too where Summer's friends would dislike her, like, I'm saying, like, out of nowhere. Like, one day Summer would just walk to and be like, hey girly, and they would either give her a weird, nasty, dirty look, or they would just act like she was an outsider. It was really, really weird, and Summer was very confused, and Brianna would sometimes be the cause of this, because sometimes those friends would be honest and be like, listen girl, like, I heard you were talking this, and this about me, and it's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I never said any of those things. And she was like, oh, well, that's what Brianna said. And then whenever she'd confront Brianna about it, Brianna would be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, I was just looking out for you because those friends were fake. So I just made it seem like you were talking smack instead, so you wouldn't have to deal with them, like, giving you any issues or trying to deny the claims, which didn't make any sense to Summer at the time. So she was just like, you know, there was like a way better way you could have approached it, but thanks for the thought, I guess. So obviously Summer tried and tried and tried to better as a person, but there was this one time that was her final straw, and she could not take any more of Brianna's behavior. And it was at their formal. There was this one time where she was with this guy that Brianna, surprise, surprise, had liked again, and his name was Jackson. At prom, literally, Brianna made some weird rumor about Summer having chlamydia or an STD, and she specifically told Jackson. And Jackson went up to Summer and was like, hey, like, do you have anything I don't know about? And Summer's like, what are you talking about? And Jackson was like, oh, like, your best friend had literally just sat here and told me that you had chlamydia and for me to be careful and that. You know, she was like, oh, look, I'm not trying to sit here and ruin your guys' moment or whatever. Make sure you use a condom because she has chlamydia. And this was Summer's last straw. So Summer literally went up to Brianna and was like, yo, you're dragging it. Like, why are you telling people I have chlamydia now? Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Brianna was like, oh, like, I thought you had chlamydia. Like, you don't have it anymore? And people around her started laughing. And Summer went off. She was like, no, you conniving. Like, literally, like, I don't have chlamydia. You have been so annoying and so mean and so jealous. And I've been trying to better you as a person and give you a chance to actually be my friend. And you've been nothing but selfish and very unhelpful. And I'm literally just sick of your behavior. and everyone around them went silent. And Brianna actually started to get mad, and she was like, nobody's jealous of you. Like, what are you talking about? And Summer exposed her. She's like, you've been talking about me to every single one of my friends, making up lies, trying to ruin my friendships. You've taken every one of my boyfriends or tried to ruin my relationships with every single one of my boyfriends. You've been ruining my friendships with every single person, and it's really freaking weird. Like, there's no way that you're not jealous of me. You literally make jokes all the time saying, like, honestly, I'm not jealous of you, but, like, I low-key am, and, like, gassing me up and stuff like that. But no, you genuinely mean that. So therefore, you're fake, and I'm tired of you. And Brianna was, like, really embarrassed. Like, her cheeks got really red, and everyone around them just, like, stared at them. And Summer stormed off and stopped talking to Brianna for the next 3 years because she didn't want to deal with that anymore. Like, I wouldn't either. But 3 years later, they ended up graduating, and Brianna actually went up to Summer after graduation, but Summer gave the dirtiest look. Like, sis was not having it. And Brianna was like, hey, like, I just wanted to talk to you. And Summer was like, well, what the hell do you want? And Brianna was like, listen, like, you're right. Like, I really was jealous. And I really am sorry for the way that I treated you. The way that I treated you, like, wasn't okay at all whatsoever. And if you can give me a second chance in a friendship, like, that would be really great. Summer looked over at her friends, and her friends were like, don't do it. Like, this bitch is, like, conniving. She's shady. She's sneaky. She'll gossip about you. Like, she will ruin your life. And one of her friends specifically was, like, a little psychic, and she's like, she's gonna betray you, like, really hardcore in the future. I'm telling you, do not become friends with her. Summer was just like, honestly, I'll think about it. And Summer started thinking, and she was like, honestly, like, I was sick of the way she treated me, and I don't actually want to be friends with her, but, like, what's one way I can get back at her? And Brianna had a lot of money, so if you know where this is going, you know where this is going. So she was like, honestly, let's give her, like, a little bit of karma, and let's, like, use her for her money. Which some of you may be thinking is pretty harsh, but honestly, for what that girl, like, went through because of that girl, I don't blame her. Like, if anything, I say I'm all for it. Shit, go and do what you gotta do. So Brianna would pretty much buy Summer whatever she wanted. If she wanted, like, a super expensive handbag, like, Brianna would do that. If she wanted, like, coffee from Starbucks, Brianna would do that. If she wanted to get her hair done, she would ask Brianna if she could, and Brianna would do that. And she would sometimes help treat Summer's friends as well. And Summer's friends actually started to like her personality-wise as well. She was like, dang, she's got money. She's giving us stuff. And, you know, she's actually not that bad of a person anymore either. Like, she's actually a pretty loyal friend. But Summer wasn't buying it. She's like, I'm going to continue using her for her money because I don't trust her and she deserves some kind of karma. Like, I'm not going back. You know what I mean? Some of her friends were like, listen, Summer, I don't think you should do this anymore. Like, you know, you shouldn't use her. But Summer was not having it. She was like, that girl put me through hell, so therefore I'm going to do it back to her and then ditch her whenever I'm finished with her. So one day she, like, wanted to go all out. She was like, all right, fine. Like, I'm going to stop using her if she takes us to this really expensive restaurant, buys us dinner, and then I'll actually be friends with her. And they went to this really expensive place in New York. I don't know what it was called. She doesn't really remember it much either. But it was just, like, the most expensive restaurant in New York around the time. Like, in the 2000s, 2005, around that time. And they had went. And they had a really good time. And Summer started to open her eyes. She was like, oh, wow. Like, you know, she really isn't that bad of a person anymore. Maybe I really should give her a chance. So that's what Summer decided to do. And she definitely regretted it. So after that, Madison and Brianna actually they became pretty good friends, and Brianna would defend her like she was supposed to, and everything was fine. Summer had met this guy, and his name was Laurel. So Laurel was Laurel and Summer were madly in love with each other. And this is when Brianna started acting weird again. So Summer went off and she was like, listen, girl, if you're gonna sit here and give me issues, like, I do not want to be friends with you. And Brianna was like, no, that's not why. And Summer was like, well, what's the issue? And she was like, he's gonna marry you someday, so I'm just, like, happy for you. And she was like, oh, okay, this is new. Like, that's interesting. I've never heard that come out of your mouth before. She was like, yeah, no, it's just like, I'm just imagining you two living together, and especially what your guys' kid will look like. That's why. I'm not being weird. I'm just trying to see the future for you a little bit. You know what I mean? And Summer was like, oh, really? Like, what's my son gonna look like? And she was like, he's gonna have brown eyes and brown hair. He's gonna be tall and handsome. He's gonna be so kind to everyone due to you raising him properly. I'm gonna be using these two palettes, but I'm not really sure which colors. It honestly depends on like the pigmentation of each. So after that, Brianna actually helped Laurel propose to Summer. And it was in the most beautiful way ever. It was like in Paris at the Eiffel Tower, and there were roses surrounded, and even the tourists were looking at them and they were happy for them. And it was like a really cute, beautiful moment. And, you know, Summer was like, wow, like people really can change. Like I definitely don't regret being friends with her. That other friend was wrong, or so she thought. And we had this really beautiful wedding, and Brianna was like really supportive and stuff, but she was awfully close to my husband. I don't really know why she was close. And they had like a really beautiful wedding and stuff, and Brianna was awfully close to Summer's husband, and you know, she didn't really know why she was really close to her and stuff, so she was kind of questioning a little, but she trusted, you know, she trusted Brianna now, so she didn't really think she was going to cheat on her or anything like that, or that she was going to make her husband cheat on, you know what I'm trying to say. So flash forward, Summer actually ended up getting pregnant, and Brianna went all out. She was very supportive. She paid for the entire baby shower. She bought the son clothes ahead of time. Everything was like amazing. Like Brianna was like super supportive of this. She was like, oh my God, my best friend's having a baby. I'm super excited. I'm super happy, blah, 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 blah. This obviously made Summer really happy because one, she didn't have to pay for the baby shower. And two, she didn't have to pay for 80% of the child's clothing. So when the baby was born, she would watch him like all the time. And I would have a lot of free time off. But you know, it was kind of really alarming to how close she was with the baby. Like, you know, it was to the point where Summer's son was a toddler and calling them both mom and mama at this point. And this made Summer very uncomfortable and was like, hey, like, what's the deal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you telling him to call you mama? And she started bursting into tears and she was like, I'm sorry, I did. But the only reason why was because I found out I was infertile. And my husband doesn't want to get a donor or anything like that, so we're just not gonna have any kids. And Summer, like, she felt so bad. She was like, oh my God, like I literally had no idea that you were going through this. I'm so sorry. Like, Summer was very sympathetic. Like she was like, I completely understand where you're coming from, girl. Like you don't have to tell me anymore. One day, you know, Summer's husband was like, I really don't trust your Brianna friend. Summer was like, can I ask why that is? This is the second time someone said this exact same thing. Her husband was like, Summer, she's gonna ruin your life. Do not, and I repeat, do not stay friends with her. Summer took his word into consideration, but literally the next day he got into a car accident and died. Brianna was the only one that supported her in that moment, so they obviously got really bonded over that, and they continued to stay friends. Summer was there for her in many ways that were indescribable. Summer's son was, I don't know how old, getting really close with Brianna. Like he would vent to her sometimes. He would sometimes sleep over at her place for absolutely no reason. And Summer didn't see an issue with this. She was like, okay, well, that's my best friend of many years. You know, they're probably just spending time together. That's like his second mother, essentially, since he lost his father at a young age. So their relationship went on for a couple of years until one day, Summer had actually looked into her son's diary because, you know, her son was off to college and she was like, oh, I really miss my son. Like, let me just like lay in his room. And she saw his diary on the nightstand. So I was like, oh, let me just read into it. It's probably like really cute stuff. So she did. And in this diary, you know, he was talking about how much he loved Brianna like a mother and stuff like that. And she was really great. And, you know, she was talking about, he was talking about his own mother as well. He was like, I love my mom like so much. Like, she just means the entire world to me and I wouldn't switch her out for any other mom. She was like, oh, like my son is so sweet. You know what I mean? But then she saw something like a little alarming. Like, you know, she started flipping the pages forward years and years and years later to when he's around this age. And, you know, he's like, honestly, like, I think I'm in love with Miss Brianna because we've done a couple of things, you know, and this is confusing the heck out of Summer. She's like, what is my son talking about? A couple of things. So she keeps reading and she keeps reading. And basically they've been in a secret relationship for 5 years, meaning since he was 18 or 17. I'm not really sure. You can do the math, but they've been in the relationship for 5 years, and he's currently 23. So then Summer is like, dang, like, this is what they were talking about when they said that she would ruin my life. Now I know what they mean, and I highly regret letting her into my life in the first place. I need to fix this right now. So she goes to Brianna to confront her, and she's like, yo, like, are you in a relationship secretly with my son? And Brianna starts bawling, and she starts crying, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Like, one day your son started kissing me and doing these things to me, when in reality it was in reverse. Brianna was doing these things to him first, which was in the diary, and she was like, no, you're lying, you're a disgusting person, don't ever speak to my son ever again, or I'll literally report you to the cops. And she did. And Summer and her son had a long talk. He realized that in the end, it in fact was never love. Instead, it was grooming, and what she was doing wasn't okay. And this really permanently scarred Summer and her son for the rest of her life. And she went back to those words where that one friend her husband was telling her one day, this girl will ruin your life. Don't ever trust her ever, or you will regret it. And that is the story time, guys. And this is the final look. I hope you enjoy it. I did something really simple, something really natural today, something quick. You know, before going to work, I didn't want to wear anything like super heavy, obviously, because I'm going to be working a lot of hours. But yeah, that story time was wild. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe this video, and share with any of your friends that may like. If you want a shout out, comment down below. Crystal ball, or the emoji, the crystal ball emoji. It's really an obsidian emoji, but you get what I mean. Comment down that below with I didn't skip the ads. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.